She came from a place where dreams froze in midair, a village near the Albanian border, where the sky was gray 9 months out of the year, and the only music came from the wind slipping through cracked windows. Her name was Elira Kovac, 19, barely 5 feet 3. She had eyes the color of deep river ice, and hair that fell past her waist, soft, gold, and thick, like stories passed down by the fire. People in her village said girls like her didn't belong there, that she looked too much like a painting, not a person. She hated that. She wanted to be seen not as pretty, but as heard. She had one dream: to sing, to be on a stage, to mean something. One night, in the only corner of the house where the Wi-Fi sometimes worked, she opened her laptop and found an email. "Congratulations, Elira. You've been selected for our International Artist Training Program in Los Angeles, California. We will assist with your visa, provide accommodations, and prepare you for debut under Luminera Entertainment. We see potential in you. No fees, no contracts yet, just a promise." She read the email 7 times, then whispered, "This is real." She didn't scream or run outside or tell the whole village. Instead, she stood in front of the mirror and smiled. The kind of smile you only wear once in your life, when you believe that everything might change. But dreams, as she would learn, always ask for a down payment. Elira sold her hair to afford the plane ticket. The village barber cried as he cut it. He said it felt wrong, cutting that much beauty from someone who still believed in the world. He tied it carefully with 3 rubber bands, wrapped it in wax paper, and handed it to her like a funeral gift. She walked home bald beneath her wool hat, trembling but proud. The next morning, her grandmother handed her a folded photo faded at the edges. It was her mother, 17, also with long golden hair, also with eyes too full of light for a place that only knew shadows. "Your mother had the same voice, or your name, or your will." Elira said nothing, not because she disagreed, but because she didn't want her voice to crack under the weight of what she was about to do. She boarded a rickety bus bound for the capital, then flew from Tirana to JFK, and from there, on a small jet to LAX. She'd never seen so many people in one place, never seen women wearing high heels in airports, never tasted cold air that smelled like money and plastic. At arrivals, a man stood with a wrinkled paper in his hand. It said, "Elira Luminara." He didn't speak, just nodded once and motioned her toward the van. She clutched her duffel bag and sat in silence, watching buildings grow taller and colder with each mile. When they pulled into a long, gated driveway, Elira thought, this must be the dorms. It wasn't. The house was all glass and silence. Modern, sterile, too clean to feel safe. No reception desk, no banners, just cameras, everywhere. She was given a form 6 pages, all in English. No translator, no legal briefing. Sign here. You'll live here, train here, stream here. We'll handle the rest. Her passport was taken. Her phone, too. She was handed a plain white shirt and black shorts. No logo, no ID, just a brush, and a smile that didn't reach the eyes. She slept that night on a mattress that smelled of bleach and perfume. And just before sleep took her, she whispered the same line again. "This is real." And it was, just not the way she hoped. The house didn't sleep. Even at 2:00 a.m., the hallway lights stayed on dim, motion activated. Even the refrigerator beeped louder than it should. And somewhere in the walls, a tiny red light blinked. Always watching, always waiting. Elira hadn't left the house in 9 days. They told her this was normal.
"We protect our talent. This is the prep phase. Once you debut, things move fast."
But Elira didn't feel like talent. She felt like inventory. She had 1 pair of pajamas, a single towel. Her mattress had no sheet. Her meals came in plastic containers with her name scrawled in Sharpie. Sometimes, she heard other girls crying, but no one dared to speak about it. There were cameras, mics, whispers of rules that weren't written anywhere, but broken girls learned the hard way. On day 10, they gave her a white envelope. Inside was a note. "Elira,
You've been selected for Debut Week. Reinvention Live. You'll stream solo. You'll get a makeover. The audience will vote on your transformation. Smile. Be raw. Go viral."
Elira didn't understand everything. The vocabulary was complicated, and no one explained. But the word makeover rang clear, and somewhere in her chest, a flicker of hope returned. She remembered those YouTube videos she watched in the village. Girls crying as they got bangs. Makeup artists gasping at before and after photos. The glow-up fantasy. The Cinderella moment. Maybe this was it. Maybe everything would change now. Maybe she'd finally be seen. A producer came into her room, young, smiling, dressed in all black. He handed her a mic pack and said only 4 words.
"Don't stop the stream."
Elira blinked. Even if? But he was already gone. She sat in the debut chair, white leather, cold to the touch, surrounded by 3 ring lights and 2 mounted cameras. A screen flashed on in front of her. She could see herself, live. The frame was tight. No escape. The stream started with a booming graphic.
"Who is Elira Kovac?"
Then, watch this nobody become somebody.
Live. She didn't know those titles would appear. No one told her. Her mouth went dry.
"Say hi, Elira."
A voice whispered from a speaker above, so she smiled and said softly,
Hello, My name is Lyra. I'm from Albania. I sing. I came here for a dream.
The comments rolled in.
Oh, she's so awkward, lol.
Oh my god, she's gonna cry. I can feel it.
She's cute, let her cook. Buzzcut PLS.
Oh my god. Scalp her. She couldn't read fast enough to understand them all, but one word repeated too often to ignore. Buzzcut. A man entered the frame, tall, masked, dressed like a barber but not one from any salon Elira had ever seen. He held electric clippers in his hand. Let's give the audience what they want, a voice said through her earpiece. She turned, confused.
Wait, what are we? I saw. Just style, maybe? Or makeup?
The man didn't answer. He stepped forward, lifted the clippers. Elira.
No, wait. What are you doing? I didn't agree to this. This isn't part of.
The first pass was fast, brutal, down the middle of her scalp. Her scream wasn't scripted.
Stop, please. I didn't say yes.
She reached up to push him away, but another pair of hands grabbed her wrists. Off camera, unknown, unseen. She was held down. The livestream chat exploded.
Yes.
Oh, the queen.
Oh my god, this is real.
She's crying! Don't stop!
The second pass came from behind, taking the crown of her head down to the skin. Hair fell in slow motion across her shoulders, sticking to the tears on her cheeks. Please, stop stream, please, I don't want this, stop! But the camera stayed locked, and the clippers kept buzzing. Her voice cracked, then disappeared. Not because she gave up, but because she couldn't find her breath anymore. 6 minutes. That's how long it took to remove the last piece of herself she still owned. When it was done, they angled the camera tighter, made her look directly into the lens, and whispered.
Smile.
When it was over, she sat frozen. The studio lights stayed on. The chat kept rolling. The clippers were gone. But the sound of them kept buzzing in her ears. Her scalp was raw, shiny under the heat. Tiny hairs stuck to her tears, to the collar of her shirt, to the corner of her mouth. She couldn't wipe them away. Her hands were still trembling.
You did great.
A voice said.
The numbers are insane. 800K live. You're trending. Trending.
She had been turned into content. She was no longer a girl. She was a moment. She wasn't allowed to use her own phone, but one of the handlers showed her the screen anyway. Bald for fame. Elira Live. She on it. Millions of views. Thousands of comments. Some cruel, some sweet, but all of them wrong. This is so brave.
Slay queen. She's owning her femininity.
This better be a glow-up arc. A little weird, but okay.
They called it empowering. A reinvention. A choice. But no one saw her hands being held down. No one heard her scream before the mic was cut. No one cared that she said no. They gave her a hood, told her to take a rest, put her in a small windowless room with a pink LED strip and a mattress too short for her body. That night, Elira lay awake, feeling nothing, thinking nothing, except my mother would not have smiled for them. 3 days passed. No more streaming. No more training. No more speaking unless spoken to. They were deciding what to do with her next. At dinner, one of the other girls slipped her a folded paper towel. Inside, 3 words, written in lipstick. You're not alone. She didn't know which girl wrote it. She never got the chance to ask. Because the next morning, they took her photo. A new press release, a new angle. Her head shaved, her cheekbones prominent, her eyes now weaponized. They called her Elira Reborn.
We love Lyra's new look.
She's raw. She's bold.
She's the face of fearless femininity in Gen Z.
She reminds us of a young Sinead O'Connor.
They used the footage, edited the screaming out, cut to black and white, added strings, overlaid text like, sometimes, the most powerful thing a woman can do is start over. They turned a public violation into a brand campaign. They turned her trauma into a lesson. But Elira wasn't a lesson. She wasn't a story arc. She wasn't anyone's metaphor for courage. She was just a girl who said yes to a dream and was punished for not saying no fast enough. One night, after everyone was asleep, Elira walked into the hallway barefoot. She stood in front of one of the hallway cameras and didn't move, just stared into it. For 27 minutes. No blinking, no crying, just her shaved head, lit dimly by the emergency light, and 2 eyes that had finally stopped hoping for rescue. She was done being anyone's blank canvas. The next morning, she stole back her phone. She didn't run. She didn't scream. She just opened the front camera, pressed record, and spoke.
My name is Elira Kovac. I did not choose to shave my head. I was held down. I said no. They cut the audio, they cut my hair, and they called it art. Face. Don't share the video. Don't repost the live stream. Don't praise what you didn't see happen. It was not my empowerment. This was their profit.
She posted it without hashtags, no tags, no filters, just truth. And this time, people listened. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. Because the same people who had cheered for her shaving saw the before and after of her face. And something cracked in them. She wasn't an icon. She was evidence. Evidence that content had gone too far. That somewhere between trend and trauma, we stopped asking people if they were okay. She walked away at sunrise. No shoes, no bag, just her hoodie pulled tight around her shaved head, and a SIM card tucked deep in her sock. Elira Kovac disappeared from Luminara Entertainment at 6:41 a.m. No one stopped her, because for the first time in weeks, she didn't ask permission. She found shelter in a tiny cafe run by an old Korean-American couple in East Hollywood. They didn't ask questions. They gave her tea, a charger, and a blanket. When she asked if they had a piano, they led her to the back room. There, beneath hanging plants and Christmas lights, was a chipped Yamaha keyboard. She sat down, and for the first time since her head was shaved, Elira sang. Her voice cracked in the first verse, but by the chorus, the sound filled the walls like light. Not pretty, not polished, but real. No makeup, no filter, no script, just a girl, with a head bare, a heart burning, and a song no one could take away. The cafe owners filmed it. They posted the video to a small Facebook page with 212 followers. It had no hashtags, no titles, just...
She asked if we had a piano. We didn't ask anything else.
That video crossed 1 million views in 12 hours, 10 million in 4 days. But this time, the world saw her face and finally stopped to ask,
"What happened to you? Was this performance house legal? Are influencer agencies exploiting international talent? Is consent being faked for content? Where is Elira Kovac now?"
She didn't hide. She didn't run. She just kept singing. 2 weeks later, Elira held a press conference outside City Hall. Not with lawyers, not with stylists, just herself, still bald, wearing the same white shirt they'd given her on day one. She read from a paper she'd written by hand.
They took my voice, they took my hair, but they couldn't take my truth. I'm not brave, I'm angry, and I'm not asking for applause. I'm asking for accountability.
Some called her a hero, some called her a threat. Some tried to buy her story, but Elira never sold it. She released one song, just one on her own channel, a ballad titled, "Nothing Left to Cut." No auto-tune, no choreography, just piano, and silence, and then her voice. She didn't become a pop star. She didn't sign with a label, but her name was no longer just a trend. It was a warning, a mirror, a flag planted in the middle of a battlefield made of cameras and clout. And every girl who watched her, every viewer who stayed until the end, learned that the cost of fame isn't just privacy or pride. Sometimes it's your hair, your voice, your whole self. Her name was Elira. She came for a dream. They took everything, but she got one thing back, the last piece she still owned. Her story.